What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we discuss some pretty major news out of the great state of California. Now, this isn't related to, the general election. This isn't related to anything else other than the Republican primary. That's right, everybody. California, a state that has a lot of delegates, but we haven't really discussed much about because, quite frankly, it hasn't really brought up much for the fact that it's later on in the contest, and quite frankly, at first it seemed like an irrelevant primary just for the simple fact of how the California primary works, at least on the Republican side. Well, guess what, everybody? That appears to be changing. As many of you probably know, California has a winner-take-most primary system, which means, hey, if you get 50% of the vote statewide, you get all the delegates. If you get less than 50%, well, then it's split proportionally based on, if you reach the threshold or not. Guess what? The state of California, their Republican Party, is about to completely destroy this system because it helps Trump. They're getting rid of the system they had for years because if they keep it in place, there's a significant possibility Trump could win every single delegate in the state of California. I am not kidding you. This is real. They're going to be making a change to the primary system, or at least a attempted change, less than 7 months away from when the primary is supposed to happen. Think about that for just a few minutes. Just a couple seconds, actually. They're changing how it works so it can benefit one person, Ron DeSantis. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the Rumble page down below for exclusive content, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you can join Real American, which helps support the daily content we all know and love, and it also helps keep Real American as an independent channel. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. So, like I said, California is trying to change their system completely. You think I'm kidding? Well, of all people, Laura Loomer got the receipts. And I know Loomer's not necessarily the most, I have my issues with her, but this is real. This has been certified by multiple people as legitimate. It is documents, emails, I believe it's an email, that was sent between several of top Republicans in the California GOP discussing how they're going to change the primary system in the state. Like I said, originally, if you got 50% in California for the primary, this is not just a thing that happened 2 years ago. This has been a thing that's been happening for years. Well, you win all the delegates statewide. And of course, a district at large districts, that's a bit different, but either way, you get the point. You get a majority of the vote, you get all the delegates. Well, guess what they're doing? They're going to make it where even if you win 60%, let's just say Trump won 60% of the vote. Well, they're making it where instead of you being winner take all, like it has been in the past for California, they're not even going to have a threshold. Because if you read this here, read this. Under circumstances when rules of the Republican National Committee do not permit the state's delegates to be allocated all to one candidate, winner take all, such as when the primary elections take place before a specified date, presidential nominating convention delegates and alternate presidential nominating convention delegates shall be allocated proportionally as follows. Congressional district delegates, the plurality winners entitled to 2 delegates and alternates from that district, and the candidate receiving the next highest number of votes receives 1 delegate and alternate. At-large delegates. The at-large delegates and alternates should be appointed among all candidates, beginning with the candidate receiving the highest number of votes and rounding fractional delegates, and alternates upwards to the next whole number. and then rewarding delegates and alternates to the second highest candidate in the same manner, and so forth until the at-large delegates and alternates to be appointed have been fully awarded. That's right. The state of California is completely gutting their winner-take-all system so it can benefit one person, Ron DeSantis. Because this is not even a threshold. Mind you, they're not even talking about, having any thresholds in this document. They're just saying proportional, which is basically what Iowa does. There's no threshold in Iowa. That's how somebody like Christie can get 1% of the vote and end up with a delegate. Well, in the state of California, they're talking about not even having a threshold. So, historically, if the frontrunner won by 30 points in the state of California, usually that means they get all the delegates. Well, instead of, Trump getting 50% of the vote, he used to get all of the delegates. Now, he would get 50% of the delegates, which on paper seems fair and all that stuff. But guess what, everybody? They're doing this behind closed doors and months before the primary election. If this was 4 years earlier, that's one thing. But to make such a sudden change that's so significant this late? And just like Rich Bear said, under the California GOP's proposed rule changes, Trump could beat the runner-up, say DeSantis, 60% to 21%. Yet second place would receive roughly half as many delegates as the majority winner. Theoretically, under certain scenarios, district delegates can absolutely be awarded to second-place candidates in a manner that is significantly disproportional. Why? Because high-population liberal centers equals more districts, and they would have an outsized impact on delegate allocation, i.e. the Bay Area could have a bigger impact than McCarthy's own district, even though they are far more Republicans in McCarthy's district. Come to think of it, McCarthy's allies are actually screwing over his own voters in Bakersfield pretty badly. That said, in the PPIC and Emerson polls, Trump was carrying all those areas anyways, but the rule change would still minimize the delegate deficit of a runner-up candidate and get the minority one step closer to the convention fight if they figure out a way to unbind certain delegates. This is happening. And if you live in the state of California, or know people in the California GOP, get in contact with them. Tell them, no, you're not doing this game. Because they're doing this because Trump's the front runner. Team DeSantis has their hands all over this. They're going to be trying to play games with delegates throughout the entire primary. Because they don't want Trump as a nominee. They don't want him. Remember, the Republican Party is staying out of it. Baloney. They're trying to change the delegate rules so they can cause a convention fight. Because if no candidate receives a majority, it goes to the convention, and that's when all hell's going to break loose. But you notice, this is just the threshold system and how many votes you need, all of that. God knows what they're going to do with the delegates. Like, right now they're binded. That means they have to vote the way they're going to vote. If Trump gets 50% and those delegates are awarded to him, they got to vote for him. They're going to be trying to do multiple states where the delegates are essentially what the Democrats do with superdelegates. They can vote for whoever they want. If you want to call how to lose an election, that's how. Essentially say the candidate that won every primary, just this example, Trump could theoretically win every single state, not even be the nominee. What do you think's going to happen? And this is just the start. They're going to do this in every winner-take-all state. I guarantee you. They're going to try to change it so suddenly Trump doesn't get as many delegates as Republicans in the past would get. Again, if this was a change for 2028, that's one thing. But they're clearly trying to make such a major change 7 months before the election. It's like, what does that look like to you? And plus, you look at who's involved and you realize, wait a minute, these are people involved with DeSantis. Either way, folks, this is a nightmare waiting to happen. I'm hoping that they don't actually do this because it opens a can of worms of, oh, South Carolina, bam, suddenly we don't have to award delegates based on if it's winner take all. We're going to award it based on the same thing. It's a nightmare waiting to happen. Again, I'm fine with the winner take all systems like they got in California because you got to win a majority of the vote to get all the delegates. It's not, oh, you win by a single vote and you get all the delegates. No. If you get a majority, you should probably get all the delegates. That's always been my opinion on the Electoral College and all of that. And I understand the proportional systems, but it's like, they're not even doing a threshold here. So, what does it look like? They're going to cut Trump's delegate count from 160 to potentially like 80. That's a huge gap. And they do this in Texas, Florida, South Carolina. It adds up. And it could cause a serious convention fight this next year. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.